The solution we are waiting for is here. Parenting without tears. Grab your copy
Can't
now.
wait to start viewing Parenting Clinic. It's the programme of the decade.
Welcome to this week's edition of Universal Parenting Clinic. On this show today, I'll be discussing this topic: beware of the antics and danger of the third parent. Besides the father and mother, several other intermediaries have emerged over the years with devastating effects and influences on children. You must recognize the potential negative influence the third parent may have on several innocent, unsuspecting children, so as to guide and guard against your child becoming a victim. Don't get this wrong. There is a part of the third parent that aids in positively supporting and developing children's growth in life, which will be discussed in another section on another week's episode. However, the increasing danger and menace of the third parent has become a potential danger to successful parenting, because the lives of several children are being ruined daily, and it is necessary that you know too. You must know this fact too, that in recent times, several personalities have turned themselves to agents of destruction to youths. Several of such people have become destiny destroyers to families. The first is that the devil is interested in parenting every child to drift towards devilish manipulations. Unfortunately, because the devil can never operate in vacuum without a body, as a result, the devil is always looking for willing vessels to use as instruments of attack and destruction. As such, several personalities in several positions have yielded themselves in the past and are still yielding themselves as willing vessels on children and adults, which is why they are termed the third parent. The third parent ranges from peer groups, friends, social media, government officials, personnel in academic institutions, drivers, domestic assistants, teachers, and relations. Any individual in any of these has the tendencies to pressurize your child to become an entirely different personality if their menaces are not quickly detected and controlled by you. This is why you as a parent need to raise your altar beyond their scope and level of operation daily and reasonably. Unfortunately, children are often more persuaded to drift along the dictates of such third parents more than the advice and teachings of their real parents, because of tricks, incentives, attractions, position of advantage, and their multiple influences. Due to ignorance, juvenile delinquencies, and youthful exuberance of children and even adults in some cases. The several devastating effects on children worldwide have turned several children against their real parents and have ruined the future and lives of several victims who were lost to them. It's rather unfortunate, because these are taking a serious, alarming dimension. Lots of parents unfortunately leave parenting responsibilities of their children entirely or partially in the hands of the third parents with reckless abandonment, and that is not appropriate. Don't get it wrong. As earlier stated, the third parents may sometimes be productive and supportive of your child's progress and success in life, but in most cases, they pose serious danger to children when left unmonitored and unsupervised, and they have caused avoidable tears to many children and parents. There have been several instances of peer groups being responsible for the positive changes to some children, friends being highly instrumental to the success of some children academically, professionally, and socially. Governments and several agencies have taken serious positions in supporting children financially with the necessary legislations. Under the topic of partnership and one other topic, I will state why such third parents may sometimes be good partners for parenting progress and success. Regardless of how good and beneficial, however, third parents should be mere reasonable support in parenting, and that is when you have identified the positive third parent or when you have identified the need and purpose for such. But you should never fail personally to render your personal parenting responsibilities to your child. You should not also fail to monitor and regularly evaluate the role of the third parent effectively. If detrimental to your child, cut it off or put control measures on ground to safeguard your child. Also, ensure you communicate effectively with your child to educate and inform him or her of the reasons and the dangers to which he or she may be exposed with examples and the reasons for your concern. This is because it is sometimes difficult to dissociate children from such third parties who are perceived as beneficial role models and people of substance unless you make your child see reasons, which in itself may sometimes be challenging. Let me give you few of the practical life examples. Are you aware that there are children who were very polite, reasonable, and responsible until they met their colleagues of negative influences and attitudes in school? Did you know that there are children who never smoked cigarettes in life until they mingled with schoolmates in school or hostels? Are you aware there are children who never tasted alcohol in life until they went out with their peer group and saw them drinking alcohol like water? Are you aware there are children of clergymen who were innocent and holy until they were introduced to fornication by their past? There were children who have been brought up by their parents never to touch whatever doesn't belong to them. However, after mingling with other bad elements outside, they became prolific thieves, shoplifters, and robbers. There have been instances of children who were taken advantage of sexually by a teacher or guardian. There are cases of domestic assistants who subjected the children of their employer to sexual harassment and other exploitations. There have been cases of housewives who became adulterers after indulging their wayward friends who motivated them into series of similar bad habits. There are instances of husbands who became night crawlers and cheats simply because they were hanging out with undesirable elements. There are children and young adults who ended in prison and police cells simply because they became allies of associates, which made them guilty and spoiled by association. There are children who were raised with perfect understanding of their sexuality and sexual origin from birth and nurtured properly by their real parents, but who were later brainwashed by different social media exposures and other types of third parents to think otherwise, to the extent of doubting their real identity. At such point, the real parent may struggle to reverse such situation to status quo. There are well-parented children who later resorted into corrupt practices and embezzlements in either corporate or public services simply because they identified with vessels of dishonor. There are honorable men and women who were honorably raised by honorable parents, but who became adulterated and criminal politically in office and after associating with dishonorable political associates. I can go on and on with series of such practical examples of over-familiarity with negative familiar faces, which has ruined the lives of several people and destroyed their destinies, resulting in tears and regret to both children and parents or either of the two. If you have an inside knowledge to the means and ways by which children becomes adulterated, manipulated, intimidated, and dominated to become the exact opposite of their real self and destroyed in the process. No parent will ignore the dangers of the third parent. As I said in the introduction to this parenting clinic, some children were deceived to think that their mates outside are enjoying more and are better off, only to realize too late after running away from home that the ill-conceived thoughts of better life outside the home, the thought of freedom from parental control, that desire and passion for personal freedom, the desire to explore personal ways and desires, the thought of endless fun, all the attractive endless fun by peers are all mere illusions, figments of their fantasies and imaginations, which usually give way to despair, frustration, regret, hunger, sorrow, and homelessness, a new world of hardships and complete uncertainty. They always face the bitter truth sooner rather than later that there is no place like home. Home, sweet home. And that other realization that none other can love them like their parents. You are possibly now familiar with this fact that many children are groomed or nurtured into a series of modern slavery nowadays, which includes criminal exploitation, sexual exploitation, domestic servitude, and labor exploitation. The truth, however, is that this is mostly done through some of the third parents. It is so easy for kids to fall into several traps of slavery and exploitation because children nowadays tend to believe their peers in school, friends outside the school, those unseen friends or role models on social media, and information seen or read on social media from unknown characters. The devil is smartly using this medium to trap so many unsuspecting children, and many children tend to believe more in these external forces than their parents. The conflicting controlling forces regularly generate conflict of wills, instructions, ideas, and directions, which causes tensions and disagreements between parents and their children. What the entire third parents do is to brainwash the kids, lure them, radicalize them, and entrap or ensnare them. They make the kids develop trust in them, believe in their sense of direction and instruction, then manipulate such kids and take advantage of their vulnerable state. Some of them are introduced into several antisocial and criminal behaviors, including sexual manipulations, gradually. After exposing the new breeds into these reckless lifestyles, it gradually becomes a luxury they craft for inadvertently, unsuspicious of any foul play and the imminent disastrous end. Some children are thereafter lured into such practices, after which they become priests in the hands of their predators, who thereafter commands them to do their biddings. But it's usually too late before they realize the truth. It's rather unfortunate, however, that many parents nowadays have abandoned their parenting responsibilities to government and government agencies. Several parents have totally left their parenting roles in the hands of teachers without necessary parenting support. Many have left and abandoned their children completely and solely in the hands of their domestic workers, relations, friends, and other third parties, and without proper and effective monitoring. Please note this very carefully. Though you may be doing your best in parenting, you and your spouse, or as a single parent, you may be trying your best. However, that may not be all. You need to monitor, study, understand, and adjust to the new reality that there are wolves in sheep clothing outside, vultures who may be hovering around your child at different times. And unless you play your parenting roles properly, backed with God's grace and prayers, such virtues may have negative influence and impacts on your child that may destroy the destiny and future of such child.
The solution to parenting challenges is here. Parenting without tears. Grab your copy now.
I will discuss further on this and reasonable measures and steps on dealing with such impact while treating related topics on this program. Remember, and I beg you sincerely, please don't abandon your parenting responsibilities in the hands of any of the third parents in ignorance. Play your part effectively and responsibly. And remember, you are the real parent who has a lot to lose. If the third parent supports positively, fine. Many times, they have no personal gains. For instance, not many children will remember their teachers, old school friends, pastors, and carers, and so on at maturity once they are successful. In the same manner, the third parents have nothing to lose if your child becomes a failure. Whether your child is a failure or not, government officials will move on in life. Teachers will move on. Friends will move on. Carers and domestic helps will move on, but you will remain the parent for life. And you and your child have a lot to lose or gain. Again, to all parents out there, I say, beware of the antics and danger of the third parent. Thanks to the several thousands of those who already joined our Facebook page as friends, those who already subscribe to our YouTube channel, those who regularly forward our videos to others, and my special appreciation goes to those who already bought the book, Parenting Without Tears. That's the show this week on Universal Parenting Clinic. I believe strongly that through this Universal Parenting Clinic and with proper understanding of the book, Parenting Without Tears, together, we all can promote wellness in families and in the world. We can stop the tears from children, parents, and families. We can kick racism, fraud, incivility, corruption, wickedness, several addictions, violence, and the series of antisocial behaviors out of all families and the whole world. And at the same time, we can promote all the positive desires and aspirations towards the well-being of the children, parents, and the world at large. Till I come your way again next week, I am the parenting advocate in the house, Michael Benga Bibilari, MGB, Mr. Parenting. Think parenting. Be a careful parent. Talk parenting. Be passionate about parenting. Don't just be a parent. Stop posturing. Be a responsible parent. A real parent. A parent indeed. Parent well.